Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and we are back with another Pokemon Unite video. In today's video, we're going to be going over my thoughts and a updated tier list for all of the battle items. Now, keep in mind that this is post nerfs and buffs, or after the latest patch number 2. They did buff and nerf a lot of the battle items in the game. So this is just kind of give you guys an updated reference point as to what are some of the, in my opinion, more commonly used battle items compared to others. Now, as a disclaimer too, I will say that all the battle items are good. And as to which ones you should use on particular Pokemon, I highly recommend that you just go ahead and experiment until you find one that fits your playstyle. On that note though, this is more so a reference point as to which ones are more likely to be more commonly used than others, just to kind of help you guys figure out which ones will help your playstyle a little bit. So without further ado, we'll get started. This should be a fairly short video. We'll go ahead and start with Eject Button because that's like cream of the crop, what most popular that a lot of people like to use. Eject Button got nerfed from a 55-second cooldown to a 90-second cooldown. Pretty big nerf, if I do say so myself. I'm still going to put this in the staple category, though, because Eject Button is still really good. Even though the cooldown is longer, it's still a very strong battle item. The fact that you can move from one location to the other in like literally an instant of a split second, that's still very, very strong. On that note, though, you definitely do feel the effects of the 90-second nerf now, and you can't do it as often as you would like to. So it definitely punishes people now for people who would tend to rely on the Eject Button a little too often, and you're more likely to be punished for your bad positioning. Still a strong item. It just means you have to, I guess, play better, if that makes sense. Next up, I'm actually going to put X Speed up in the staples category as well, and I'll go ahead and explain why. I was already a big fan, personally, of X Speed before the nerf, primarily because of the fact that X Speed is a nice compromise between Eject Button and Full Heal. Okay, I'm not putting Full Heal in the staples, it's just for the explanation. But it's like a nice mix between the two, because X Speed can give you the distance that you need to cover, like Eject Button does, and actually gives you a slightly longer distance too, because it lasts longer than Eject Button. Eject Button is a very small set distance and it happens immediately, whereas X Speed is like over duration. You can travel farther. But at the same time, X Speed also lets you ignore hindrances or slow effects, I should say, anything that slows your movement speed, kind of like Full Heal does. And that's kind of why I think XP is actually pretty decent. Now, especially after the nerf, the Eject Button nerf to 90 seconds, I feel like XP is definitely kind of rising in glory now too. Where on certain Pokemon, you would rather have the X Speed, and on other Pokemon, you would rather have the Eject Button, in my opinion. A good example of why X Speed, for example, is good is like against Pokemon like Ninetales, where literally his basic attacks for Ninetales is like pure slow effects, reducing your movement speed. X Speed is a nice counter against Pokemon like Ninetales. You can just kind of ignore all of the slow, and either you can engage on the Ninetales to take her out, or you can disengage from the Ninetales so you can get away from safely. Ninetales is a good example as to one of the downsides about Eject Button, which is where even if you blink away with the Eject Button, you are still being affected by any of the slows or status ailments that were on you before you used Eject Button. So that's kind of the pros and cons between the two. Eject Button is instant and travels a short distance, but you're still affected by a lot of the hindrances that are in the game. Whereas X Speed may not be instant, but you can travel slightly further and you can ignore hindrances in the game. So you can kind of pick one according to your playstyle. Next up, we have X Attack. I'm putting X Attack in optional just because of the fact that typically players would prefer survivability over most other stuff. X Attack is still a very strong item. I have a good amount of friends who prefer X Attack on specific Pokemon. It gives you higher burst damage, so you can go for more, I guess you say, playmaking plays. I would like to put it in staple, but just because of the fact, again, like I said, people tend to prefer survivability. X Attack is an optional category. And I think it got buffed too. The effects of it, and I think the duration, or is it the cooldown? One of the two. But it got buffed as well, so it's definitely a lot better too. Full Heal, I'm putting in the niche category, just because of the fact that it's It's very hit or miss. You have to be playing a Pokemon who's very often in the thick of things, from my experience, to make full use of full heal. If you're like a character like Machamp, for example, or Wigglytuff, who kind of have to put their body on the line in order to do any damage as melee characters or like usage, they probably benefit from an item like full heal a little bit better compared to others, because they're more susceptible to getting hit with all the stuns and CC compared to others. Potion, I'm also going to put in the niche category for similar reasons. It's only really good on specific Pokemon. My personal opinion, I'm not a big fan of Potion just because I feel like the health burst is just a little bit too low for my liking, but I do understand too that there are a lot of Pokemon in the game who don't have a lot of defense or health in the first place. So having that burst of HP can keep them alive just long enough to be able to carry out a specific play that they're trying to make, or maybe just trying to run away or something. It can be just enough to keep away or keep alive this more squishier Pokemon, essentially. Fluffy Tail, I'm putting in the optional category. Obviously, it's better suited for Pokemon like junglers and such, hence why it's there. But not all Pokemon can use it, but depending on your playstyle or what Pokemon you're playing, you might be feeling the Fluffy Tail that day. Next up, Gold Getter. I'm also putting Gold Getter in the niche category. Now, Gold Getter actually got a recent buff lately where they buffed the cooldown. It got dropped, I think it was like on a 2-minute cooldown previously, and they just buffed it up to a 90-second cooldown instead. So they reduced the cooldown by 30 seconds, so you can use it a little bit more often. Personally, I think Gold Getter is a very strong item, and I would love to be able to find more opportunities to use it. The biggest problem I have with Gold Getter, though, is just simply the cooldown. I feel like the buff is in a good direction. However, I feel like Gold Getter won't actually start becoming more of a viable item to actually jump into the optional tier until it hits around like a 60-second cooldown, I think once it hits like that area, that's when Gold Getter will start seeing more usage, in my opinion. Just because of the fact that like you want to be able to score goals more often, both early game, well, just throughout the game, and be able to use the Gold Getter more often for that literally specific purpose, I think is vital. I like the direction, but I think it just needs a little bit more of a cooldown buff. Last but not least, we have Slow Smoke. I'm also going to put the Slow Smoke in the optional category, just because of the fact that I feel like a lot more Pokemon than people realize can actually make really good use of the Slow Smoke. I feel like I feel like it's a very underrated battle item. It still requires a little bit of testing just because of the fact that, again, I hardly see anybody playing it. But I do feel like there's a lot more Pokemon than people give credit for that can actually take full advantage of the Slow Smoke. The fact that it literally, well, as the name implies, it slows down the enemy or multiple enemies because it's AoE, can oftentimes be very valuable to either prevent them from escaping long enough they can maybe get a kill, or you can even use it defensively to prevent them from chasing you so you can get away fast enough. I feel like characters that can tend to benefit the most from Slow Smoke are going to be Pokemon like Speedsters, because they have all the movement, so they can get in real quick, engage, pop the Slow Smoke, slow them down long enough where they can get a few extra hits to finish off the target, or use it as a getaway tool, like I said before. Like if they got jumped, they can pop the Slow Smoke, slow them down, then use a movement ability to get away. You can experiment with some specific CC characters as well too, but again, it's just kind of Pokemon dependent. But there are enough Pokemon in the game that I think Slow Smoke can definitely be a very optional item. It's just most people tend to opt for one of these other picks instead, typically. But other than that, that's going to be it for today, guys. Those are my thoughts in terms of the battle items after the latest patch. Go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button, all the usual good stuff. Other than that, though, I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good one. Peace.